Hello, friends. I hope you're all doing well. In today's class, we'll design a basket and you can see the render on your screen. So, without wasting time, let's get into today's class. First, I'll go into edit mode, scale up the default cube on the x-axis, scale it down on the y-axis, and move it slightly upward. Then, I'll press X to delete it. Next, I'll press Ctrl plus R to create an edge loop on this side and scale it up here. I'll create another edge loop here, scale that too, select the vertices, and move them slightly upward along the z-axis. I'll add one more edge loop and move the two vertices downward. Now I'll go to Object Mode, open the Modifier tab, and add a Subdivision Surface modifier, setting the levels value to 2. Actually, I'll set it to 3 and apply it. Next, while keeping this object selected, I'll press Shift plus A, go to the Curve option, navigate to Notes, and click on Celtic Links. If you don't see these options, go to Add-ons, enable Extra Curve Objects, and then Celtic Links will appear. You'll see a shape like this. In the Celtic Links options, I'll reduce the bevel depth value to 0.02, and the other option to 0.05. Or actually 0.05. Now you'll see the shape forming. I think this value looks good, but you can reduce it if needed. I'll hide it for now. You'll notice our shape is ready. To add more detail, I'll uncheck it, go into Edit mode, switch to Edge Select mode, select the top edge loop, press Shift plus D to duplicate, and then press P to separate it. I'll hide it for now. Now, I'll design a rope-like structure. I'll create a circle with 12 vertices, go into Edit mode, scale it down, and move it on the x-axis. Next, in Object mode, I'll press Shift plus A to create an empty object. I'll select it and add an array modifier, uncheck relative offset, enable object offset, and pick the empty object. I'll rotate the empty object 90 degrees on the z-axis. Selecting the circle, I'll set the count value to 4 and add a screw modifier. In edit mode, I'll rotate it negative 45 degrees on the x-axis and move it to this side. I'll adjust the screw value slightly. Now I'll apply the first array modifier. Add another array modifier, set the x value to 0, z to 1, and reduce the z value to adjust the spacing. I'll enable merge. This gives me the shape I want. I'll press Alt plus H to unhide all objects but delete the ones I don't need. I'll scale this down a bit. Next, I'll add a curve modifier, select the curve object, convert it to a curve, set the deform axis to Z, and increase the count value. I'll scale it up slightly, and it's starting to look good. I'll press Shift plus A to create a circle, go into Edit mode, rotate it 90 degrees on the x-axis, scale it up, move it on the z-axis, select the bottom vertices, and delete them. Now I have a fitting shape. I'll press Ctrl plus 2 to add a subdivision surface modifier, set the levels to 3, and apply it. I'll right-click to convert it to a curve, press Shift plus D to duplicate, hit Escape to leave it in place, select the curve object, and adjust the count value. I'll scale it up and fix the spacing, move it slightly on the z-axis, I'll select a part, press Shift plus S, choose Cursor to Selection, and place the 3D cursor exactly there. Pressing Shift plus A, I'll create a circle at that spot. I'll scale it down, adjust the depth in the curve data, and create the desired shape. I'll duplicate it, rotate it 90 degrees, adjust its position, duplicate again on the Y-axis, and press Shift plus R twice to make 2 more copies. I'll duplicate again, adjust its position, select everything, press Ctrl plus J to join, and Ctrl plus A to apply the transform. With the object selected, I'll add a mirror modifier. Now it's mirrored perfectly, and we have the desired shape. If you want to randomize the shape, you can hide the part, go into Edit mode, select a point, enable proportional editing, press G, and move it slightly. Afterward, press Alt plus H to unhide everything. Now we'll apply materials to the object. Instead of manually designing materials, I'll use the Blender Toolkit add-on, which I'll link in the description so you can install and use its free assets. It offers many free materials, objects, and scenes for projects. For example, I'll click on Materials, search Wood, and hit Enter. You'll see many wooden materials, and you can choose whichever you like. I like this one, and I'll drag and drop it onto the object. If the material isn't showing, it's because we're in solid preview mode. Switching to Material Preview will show the applied material. To apply the same material to other objects, select them all. Click the target object last, press Ctrl plus L, and choose Link Materials. Now we'll adjust the material settings in the shader editor. In the shader editor, you'll see the texture coordinates UV is connected to the vector, but we haven't unwrapped our object. We'll connect object to vector and set the texture from flat or box. You can adjust the scaling and rotation of the textures as needed. I think the scale of 1 looks good. I'll rotate it slightly on the Y-axis and adjust the roughness value. Lowering the roughness value makes it look better. With the Blender Toolkit add-on, you can easily apply materials. Next, I'll light the scene using the Blender Toolkit add-on. First, I'll delete the default camera and light, select all objects, and press Ctrl plus C to copy them. In the Scene section, I'll search Lighting and press Enter. Some scenes have a lock icon, paid, but we can use the free ones. I'll pick a good free scene, click Append, and press OK. Then I'll press Ctrl plus V to paste the copied objects and scale them down to place them on the plane. I'll scale the background up and set the camera. Pressing Ctrl plus Alt plus 0 will set the camera view. I'll change the resolution to 1920 by 1080. Select the camera, press G+Z, and move it back. I'll slightly rotate it on the Z-axis. Keep the render engine set to cycles. In the render options, enable denoise, then click Render, Render image. You can adjust the focal length value if desired. Now you're ready to render the image. I hope today's class was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments.